Good morning, everybody. It is officially May 1st. Oh, how do we feel? We're starting the 5th month of the year, and it is crazy to me that we are already so far into it. And today, of course, for me is a little bit of a rainy, gloomier day, and honestly, I'm kind of vibing. It's cozy, it's just peaceful in a way. So yesterday I had posted on my end of April budget review and how we did. We did end up positive 537 or something like that. And after doing my budget for May, it's kind of going to even out because for May I'm projected to be negative 560. So I'm going to go through my numbers and what is on this month's budget that wasn't on the last couple of budgets and where we're going to go from there. But hello, if you have not been here before, my name is Hannah and I'm just a girl doing girly things. And one of those girly things is trying to resituate my financials and relearning how to better take care of myself and my money. So these videos are kind of just holding myself accountable in hopes that I can not fall back into my overspending habits. So let's get into the budgets. I'm drinking green tea with mint, by the way, mint from my own garden. Well, my window ledge garden, but it's good. And this mug is from my mother-in-law. I don't know if you guys have noticed a trend in all of my mugs. My favorite mugs are all gifted by people I love. It feels like I have them just with me in the morning. No, it's a little warm hug with my warm drink. All right, let's get into her. So my grandma was super duper and she actually set me up a binder. I don't think that's what this is called. I think it's like a duotang or something. But I feel like that's what I remember them being called in school. But she had a bunch of different templates and stuff in here. And the one that I went with is, oh my goodness, is this original one in here. There is like a few other ones that are in this binder that I haven't gone through yet. I do need to go and get some photocopies done, which if you've seen in my videos in the last couple of weeks, I did give big shout out to my local library, your local library, all local libraries. They're great. I personally don't want to have a printer or a photocopier or anything like that in my house. I go to the library. It's like 10 cents a page. So if I need 10 pages, it costs me $1. And the 10 pages will get me through the year. So we're good. Actually, but this one will be more than 10 pages because it's a 3-page worksheet. So, but we are going to go. There's 3 pages, but this is the first one. So for May 2025, my budget worksheet, there is a lot on here that I don't use just because my situation is obviously, I believe this is one for like the States, but I make it work. Okay, so there's a lot of empty spaces and stuff like that, but it's okay. We'll go through it anyways. So for gross income, I like this too, so it's kind of cool. It shows you like pre-tax and stuff like that. So for gross income, I'm budgeting both of my paychecks this month pre-tax $14.20. It's what they are if I work a full 80-hour week, no go homes or anything like that, which the first one may get affected. Well, not may, it will get affected. We had a half day yesterday because of a shortage of work due to just an error that we had at work. So that will be obviously affected. So both paychecks budgeted pre-tax $14.20, and I do also have another marketplace sale goal of $300. So I did include that in my numbers, but obviously when it comes down to it at the end of the month, the numbers may be higher, they may be lower, so it all is just going to get affected by that. So for taxes, for just the 2 paychecks, I don't pay taxes on my marketplace sales, okay? I'm not going to claim that I sold a bunch of t-shirts. So pre-taxes for my paychecks, I put $500. Usually it's about like $250, give or take, a paycheck. So just budgeting $500. And then for savings, I wanted to put $150 into my TFSA, which, so that would be $75 per paycheck. which is more than what I put in last month, but it's okay. I know I was going to be in the negative, so we're just going to balance it out. And that grades, I knew I could have just kept it at 100 and it would have only been like 510 that I would have been down, but it's fine. I'm fine. I'm working through it, okay? So that leaves my net income after taking off taxes and my TFSA for savings to $2,490. Again, that is going to very fluctuate based on my hours of work and if I actually hit my marketplace sale goal again. Then we're gonna jump into expenses. So we've got rent, which is $1,200, and then for utilities, this month, like I had mentioned in my video yesterday, we get the previous month bill on the first of the month, and then we pay it that day. So rent and utilities are already paid. So utilities this month was $270, and if any of you had watched my video at the beginning of April, my utilities for March was $385. Because we had a very bad cold snap and our insulation was not the greatest. We pretty much were just heating outdoors. So to have a $270 bill this month was a huge weight off my shoulders because that means I had $115 that I could allocate somewhere else into my budget. We also had to add phone and internet onto this budget sheet because now that the couple that I had paid off on my credit card are already done, paid. I had a brain fart. I apologize. So we're adding those on. So for phone, for both John and I, we pay $90 together. We are with Kudo, and we pay $45 each person, and we get 60 gigs of data, and it's fantastic. Like I make jokes that we could just cut off our internet if we really wanted to, but we don't because we're both gamers now and we need actual internet that we are plugged into. So, but for our phone, we got a really good Kudo deal. We were previously with Telus and we were paying $180 a month. So we dropped it in half and we actually tripled the data that we have because we each have 60 now and previously we only had 25 each. So we had 50 together and now we have 120 together. So almost tripled. 2.5. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. So phones 90 and then internet is 60. We are with Cogeco. If you're Canadian, you'll probably heard of it, or Southern Ontarian, I guess. So 60 for that. And then that is all of like our real like utilities there, or like home expenses, I guess. So then for auto, I have budgeted $150 for gas. And 55 of that is a gift card. I'm really bad for hoarding my gift cards until like the perfect moment to use them. So both of these gift cards, I like, it's a $50 one and I think like $6 or $7 left on another one. Both I've gotten for presents from Christmas and PAG. So I want to use those because they're cluttering my wallet. But I am planning a trip up to go visit my family, hopefully the weekend after May 2-4, so I can go see everybody. So that is why my gas is budgeted so high this month. I also know that I have a trip next week into town to the hospital to go for new x-rays on my elbow and my wrist, which, by the way, WSID did actually get a hold of the hospital and confirm that it was fractured in my wrist because I guess nobody at the hospital here decided to actually update my information. So I've been going back and forth with WSIB to figure out what the heck is actually going on. So it's confirmed there is a radial neck fracture, which I didn't know there was a bone underneath my thumb and my wrist called a radial neck. I actually thought that they had screwed up the paperwork again and that they had put that my neck was fractured. So I'm very glad that that's not what it was. I just had to Google it. So that's good. But because of that and going back to the hospital for my x-rays, I'm like 90% sure they're putting me in physio because I cannot straighten my arm and I can't do a lot of like fun movements with my wrist. So I'm going to need physio. And thankfully it is covered, but my gas is not. So I do have to go and deal with that. And I don't know if there's physio here in town or if I'm going to have to drive to the next town over to do physio, which is 20 minutes there and back. So that is a decent amount of gas, even with my good little car. And then for maintenance, I budgeted another $100. My check engine light came back on. I had just fixed it right at the beginning of April. I went literally April 1st, and they had changed out my emissions valve, and now it is saying that there's a potential emissions leak. It could be a hose, it could be a crack somewhere, or it could just be my gas cap. Either way, I am going to have to first check with my brother, because older sister privileges to having a brother who went to school for being like a mechanic. I love it. It's great. He's gonna look at my car. I give him booze. It's fine. It's a payment, okay? Older sister privileges. So hopefully he can figure out what it is, and if it doesn't cost me a whole lot, that $100 is not gonna completely leave my pocket. Again, fingers crossed, because your girl needs to go get her full G license as well, and I cannot do that with a check engine light on, even though we know it is nothing, because my car is actually too old. They don't even check for emissions on it anymore. So it's a frustrating thing when your car is constantly draining funds that you needed in other places. But hopefully both of those budgets stay well below, and we'll work on it. So then for this month for groceries, I'm only budgeting $250. I am kind of doing myself a Raid Your Pantry challenge. So I want to use all of the older stuff that we have in our freezers, which unfortunately is a lot of random stuff. And it's half bags, so it's like, what do I do with this? So I'm going to deal with that. I'm going to deal with my Lazy Susan pantry. I don't see me actually finishing everything that's in it, because there is literally 40 cans of tomato paste from a previous job. I used to get cans for free, so it was good. I stocked up at Christmas, and that's what everybody got. So I'm doing a Raid Your Pantry, so I have like all of my canned goods that I want to use. I have a bunch of random like packs of stuff. I got like rice-a-ronis. I have a buffalo chicken noodle bag dish thing. I don't know. We've got craft dinners and stuff. So I'm going to find a way where I can buy fresh food, like, you know, my vegetables and my milks and stuff like that, and eggs. And I'm going to use that as the oomphs to what's in the pantry, because I won't lie, the pantry stresses me out when I look at it, and grocery shopping has not been fun because I have no idea where anything is in it. I also need to get a stepping stool so I can actually see the top of my counter. Short girl problems. Yay. But that is one of my goals for this month, is to try and use up as much of the stuff that's in my pantry, the one-offs, the things we don't use, things we've been given, or, you know, we just haven't gotten the chance to do anything with. I am on an afternoon shift, so it's hard to fully cook 7 meals a week out of that. We actually only get to cook 3 meals a week together with my husband. And we usually go for ones that we know we're going to eat. Tacos, spaghetti, burgers, stuff like that. You know, sometimes we'll have a pizza, which again is just a frozen pizza, and then I do salads with it. But my goal for this month is to go through that pantry, the freezers, and use everything. I would like to deep clean everything again. I know my fridge needs it because I've had a few spills in it and I've been neglecting it. So I need to deep clean everything, but I don't want to have everything pulled out. I'd rather just have like a few things that were in there and take them out. So that is why my grocery budget is only $250 this month. For eating out, I want to budget $50. Not only, not just for John and I, but I know that if when I go up to my family, you know, sometimes I visit a friend and I want to go for coffee or breakfast, or if it's a long road trip and, you know, I feel like I'm going to crash out, I'll stop and I'll grab something for a hit of sugar, you know, or something just to kind of not pass out of the wheel on the 401. So that is, I'm doing 50. Last month we did good, and we only hit, I think, $15. Actually, it ended up being like $19 by the end of the day yesterday, because we went on my half day. I decided, like, you know what, it's the end of the month. I had scene points to use. We also have our CAA membership, and we went to Harvey's. So for 2 full meals, I actually ended up only spending $3.23 to be exact, because I used 3,000 in scene points, which is $30, and then my CAA membership gave me 50% off, which I didn't know that was a thing. I thought it was only 10%, but when she had taken off the 3,000, it went to like 6 something, and then she swiped my CAA, and then it said 323. So I had no complaints. I love getting a full dinner meal for under $4. I know scene points are money technically, but I don't count them. They were not in my physical hand, okay? They were free. Free. So $20 for a month, but I want to do 50 for this month just as a pre-plan to it. And then for entertainment, I am giving myself $40. I have had a lot of fun with my video games lately, excuse me. And I feel like, don't get me wrong, I definitely try to get the absolute most out of my video games. I'm working on Hogwarts Legacy right now, and I think I have just under 80 hours into that one, and I paid like $25 for it, so I'm looking at about 30 cents an hour. And then the Schedule 1 game that I had mentioned yesterday in my video, I had bought for $30, and we are now almost 35 hours. So I'm under $1 an hour, and I'm definitely still going to keep playing it. And even when John and I end game hour 1, I want to do my own map. I don't know what you call it, like your own version. I don't know. Okay, I'm just a girly. But that also brings my cost of use down. So even like if I can get 100 hours out of a video game that I paid $20 for, I'm paying 25 cents an hour for entertainment. So to me, I think having a $40 budget just in case a game comes out, because Schedule 1 was not a planned purchase for me. I had seen my husband and all of his friends playing it, and I thought it was hilarious, and I wanted in on it. Even all the kids at work were talking about it, and I was like, you know what? I want in, so I jumped in. Okay, it was like $30, and I'm not mad about that because I'm having a blast. I play it every day now since I bought it, and it's very fun. So $40 for entertainment. This also includes any random Amazon 99-cent movie rentals that I find. We watched Den of Thieves 2 weeks ago, last week, and it was on sale on Amazon for 99 cents. Good movie. I give it like a 3.5 out of 5. It could have been better, but I did fully enjoy it. I was a little sad at how it ended. I felt bad. I thought that man was going to have a love interest, and so much betrayal. Made me sad. But it was a good movie. It was fun. I loved watching it. And then for prescriptions and vitamins, is really what it is vitamins. I have $50 because I do believe I'm going to have to restock on either my ashwagandha or my magnesium this month. I don't remember, but I will have to. One of them I know is getting refilled this month. And then for clothing, I put $30. I have been wearing my clothing until it has holes in it. And literally to the point where they're like rags. Because on a weight loss journey, I don't want to go and spend money on clothing every 2 months. I'm already down, like I posted a video last week about how I was down 3 pounds, and I'm already down another 1.5 pounds from that. So I don't want to have to go and continuously be buying clothes during a weight loss journey. So I did put $30 because I know there is a few things that I will need to replace. Mainly work clothes. It's mainly my work pants because they are getting shredded. Thick thigh problems. And then gifts, I put $20. I actually have a really great idea for all of the Mother's Day gifts that I'm making this year. So I'm hoping I can do them for under $20. I have one for my mother-in-law, my stepmom, my bonus mom. I also want to do one for my grandma on my stepdad's side. Having so many brain farts today, guys. And so under $20, what I'm doing is I'm making them bouquets. I was going to do crochet bouquets, but I can't crochet right now, so I do have another idea. And I will film the process because I think it's going to be super cute and a great way to recycle. So that sounds so cheap of me, but I think the environment is more important than getting a bunch of gifts that everybody may not want. And then it is also my stepdad's birthday and my sister's birthday this month. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for them. I'll probably end up making my stepdad a cake or something along those lines, or who knows. But I will figure it out, and I will post updates later throughout the month of what people are getting this month for gifts. And the process of my Mother's Day gift creations. And then so debt. I did mention this yesterday. I do owe unemployment $490. There was a discrepancy after I was laid off at Christmas from a previous job. I was off for 3 weeks, and then I literally started my new job on January 3rd, and then my previous job had reached out asking me to come back because I was just laid off and I did have the opportunity to go back, and I told them no, that I was going to stick with the job that I'm at. It was more cost effective and way less stress at this job. So I said no, and then I got a severance pay of almost, I think, 510, 515. But this went on my record of employment and it flagged EI, and then EI said, nope, you owe us $490 out of that 515 that you got. So that is my debt for this month, and that will be getting paid. I did put the $515 aside just in case, because I wasn't expecting it either, and I was worried that it was a error on my old job's part, so I kept it in case they told me I needed to pay it back. And then so for savings goals, I have the 150 for my investments, and I would also like to put 150 just back into the emergency fund, because that's where that 515 went. It went into a savings account, so I want to put at least 150 back into that account after we get it paid. So in totals, I'll just show you that paper, because then you can see where everything is. I did my calculations and stuff. So totals are down here. These sheets are really cool. Like, as you can see though, I didn't use a whole lot of them because they don't really go for what I needed just yet. Obviously, you know, things will come later, and then there was always extra like blank spaces. So if I wanted to add any categories of my own, I could have. But this month I wanted to stick with what I already had. So for housing, our total housing for this month is $1,620. Auto, I put $200 because I didn't count the $55 gift card. Gift cards are free money, okay? They don't count. They don't count. They're not in my account. They don't count. So $20 or $200 for auto, $100 for gas, $100 for repair if needed. Household is $440. I don't know where I got that number from, but $440 for household, from groceries to everything else. And my total debt is $490. Total savings goals is $300. So expenses wise, $3,050. So if you would remember our net, or our gross is pre-tax. Net. Our net income was $2,490. So I am going to be negative $560. But out of those $560, $300 of that is going to savings and investments. $400, and you know, like the rest of it is just because of EI repayment. Pretty much, if I didn't want to put that extra money into my investments and savings this month, I didn't spend anything on gifts, I did no entertainment, no dining out, nothing, I would have been in the positive by like $30. To me, completely depriving yourself is not going to keep you budgeting. So that is what we did. Again, because of how positive we were last month, we were like 535 positive. So really, we're only going to be like negative 25 this month, because it's going to just almost equal itself out between April to May. So I'm not worried about it. I'm definitely going to keep my eye out though on what is getting spent where. Again, like I keep my receipts. I have a budgeting tracking app in my phone. I have my paperwork. I have an Excel spreadsheet. And knowing where everything is makes me feel so much better about my finances now. Like, I used to be a don't look, don't think, it doesn't exist kind of person with my finances. And that is something that I'm very happy to get out of. So, again, happy May 1st to all of you lovely people. If you stayed along for this long yapping ride, I appreciate you. I love you. Any support you guys give is phenomenal. I'm just a girl doing girly things, and one of those girly things that I want to do is to build this channel. You know, it's a safe space to grow as a person. As a 27-year-old who had to relearn a lot of stuff that I wasn't taught when I was younger. Not just because I wasn't taught them, but because I also didn't retain any of the knowledge because I was just a little shithead. I am relearning things now, and I'm growing as a person, and I cannot wait to see where I am at the end of this year as a person and as a financially responsible adult. So if you like that kind of content, I will probably end up doing paycheck budgeting this month. I thought about it last month, and I just didn't have the time with all of the stuff going on. So this month I'm going to try every payday. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to allocate where my funds are going from that paycheck. And we're also going to do a check-in to see where I'm at with my marketplace sales at the time of my paychecks. I do get paid next week, so hopefully my marketplace sales are getting good in a week. I do have somebody coming on Saturday already, so that's great. But if you like this kind of stuff, you know, if you want to learn about learning your finances as somebody who has no credentials and is just, you know, learning as she goes, or anything for like weight loss or anything like that, I'm going to start doing my cooking recipes and stuff. I just have to situate my kitchen better. Not going to be fun, but I figured being a safe space for personal growth, of all kinds of personal growth, is a great kind of little community that I want this channel to be. So again, if you've made it this far through all of my yapping, thank you. I appreciate you. If you're not following, go ahead and subscribe if you want to. If you don't, I'm not going to be upset. I do appreciate the views anyways. And just remember to have a great day, okay? A great day, a great month. May is a great time, okay? Enjoy it. Be happy. Even if it's raining, it's a good month, okay? There's so much good stuff happening in May, and I think we all need to remember that. Have yourselves a lovely day, a lovely weekend, a lovely month. And I'll see you guys when I post again in a couple days. Love y'all. Bye.